For years, and if you remember, I served in 95 and 97, I have always supported the death penalty. I've never had a problem with the death penalty. Philosophically, I believe it is the negative right of someone who commits horrific crimes. It's their right to be put to death. And that sounds weird, but it's a negative right under a philosophical concept of law. However, when I began to look at the mitigation and aggravation factors in our statute, it became clear to me we value some lives more than others. And I'm increasingly uncomfortable with that. Remember, we talked about that. We have the mitigation and aggravating factors. It's an aggravating factor if you kill a police officer, but it's not an aggravating factor if you kill a 4-year-old girl. Why are the lives of some victims more important than the lives of other victims? Second, mitigation and aggravation. Nothing in there says we take the wishes of the family, the victim, into consideration, because some family members do not want to have people put to death in their name. It just causes them more injury. Other family members want this, and yet we don't consider that all in the mitigation and aggravation factors, which is part of the system that I think is broke. I think taking someone's life is an irreparable injury. You can't take it back, so therefore I want to be 100% sure. And I think sometimes we absolutely are 100% sure, but then I think there's a second factor called distributive justice, and that means when we have that type of penalty, do we distribute it equally and fairly to all who commit a like type of crime? And the data is clear, we do not. The data is clear, we do not. And our own statute makes that clear because we have aggravating factors such as taking the life of a law enforcement agent will get you the death penalty, but taking the life of a 4-year-old child may not. The data is clear. You will get the death penalty statistically more if you kill a Caucasian person. It is the race of the person you kill that will determine the death penalty, not the race of the perpetrator. It is clear that some lives, unfortunately in society, statistically we value more than others. Statistically, because taking of someone's life is irreparable injury, you can't bring it back, and because I can't make our society have distributive justice in this area, and unless we can fix that, how can you sit there and allow the taking of a life for a crime that's identical to another crime, but that person gets to sit in prison for the rest of their life? The third factor for me, finally, and this is a long time coming, is the cost. I don't know how we can pay increasingly for the death penalty when life in prison without the possibility of parole takes care of the safety of society. The cost is, you know, I forgot the data, but I mean the cost is amazingly cheaper in terms of the whole impact on society. And it allows people to move forward quickly. Final point. I'm not an overly religious person. I'm not. But I do think people come to God in their own time. And I think when I take someone's life, I've shortened their ability to make amends if they are ever going to make amends and come to God in their own time. And I don't think I have that right to do that. I just don't anymore. I'm 50-some years old, 54 actually. And this has been a long change for me because, you know, I'm a really tough on crime type of person, but I've just grown to the point where I don't know if I can take someone's life anymore and shorten their time to come to God in their own time. So as long as I can make society safe with life without parole, I would like to have this discussion on the floor of the House.